Hello, everyone. My name is Anidora. I'm the podcast producer for What Is Your Story. On today's episode, we're sat with Maryam. And Maryam is a young woman who takes us through, leaving her small town and moving into a big city like Lagos, how that has been for her. What makes Maryam's story exciting is that Maryam is coming from a place where there's a lot of societal pressure to be one thing. As a woman in her place, your life is already predetermined for you. You grow up, you go to school, you get married. Very distinct, and you guys know the stereotypical script that has been set for a lot of young ladies. We follow her on her journey of, becoming, being able to grow in her career and determine that, okay, this is the kind of life she wants to live. It's exciting seeing a young person, kind of try to take control of their own life and their own destiny. I think that's what struck me when it came to Maryam's story. I do hope that when you guys listen, you feel the same way. I'll let you guys get into it.
You are now listening to an episode of What Is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. Enjoy!
My name is Maryam Ibrahim Yedo, and this is my story. I'm a graduate at Yaba Tech, a product designer and a content creator. I'm still going deep inside that. And before we have a deep dive, I'm going to start with my life at Jigawa. Yeah. I was born at Jigawa State, and I lived there for most of my life up until university. Life in Jigawa is kind of like, imagine a community of people where their business is your business, everybody know everybody and stuff like that. And my dad was kind of popular there because Jigawa in the early days of Jigawa, they did not really know, they did not really have electronics. I'm talking about television, gen, and everything. So it was basically my dad that traveled to places like Kano, Lagos, and other neighboring states to bring it in. So you can imagine how popular that made him. And they gave him this Big Brother Electronics. So life in Jigawa was very, very comfortable. I mean, money was good. Everything was comfortable, the capital C. At the age of 16, my dad taught me how to drive. I took his old car while he bought a new one. So basically, I had a car at the age of 16. And my mom was a proprietor, and she has her own school, with her friend and everything. So after my secondary school, I sat for JAM. I got the cutoff mark, and I was set to go to FUD, Federal University of Jigawa, to study medicine. At that time, that's the dream my parents have for me. Their first daughter should be a medical doctor, and everybody know about it. My mom's friend, Dr. Mo, house I mean, our doctor. Or Dr. Dina, my doctor and stuff like that. So from a young age, everybody, Maryam's going to be a doctor and stuff like that. So it's already in my head, and I did not really sit down and think that what do I want? So first year of university, everything was going smoothly. Year 2, that was when I got the shock of my life. I and my friends, we were 3. We went to sign our course form at the faculty. I can't really remember the year. Yeah. But we went there, we were looking for our lecturer. So as we were passing, we got a strong smell. And we were like, what's that? What's that? One of my friends, Billy Kiss, was like, Mutepi, let's go, because we're going to be late, and the next lecturer will go in and we'll miss some stuff and everything. So but me, I was like, no, let's go and see what that smells like. Tear gas. How will you know what tear gas smells like? We're just arguing, and then we decided, okay, let's go and investigate. We went there. It was kind of a lab, so many beds there with white sheet. That should have given us an idea of what was there. But we decided, okay, let's investigate further. I was the one bold enough to go, and then I lifted the sheet off, and the next thing I know, I was in my hostel with my parents and everybody. Like, my hostel hasn't been that full before. And then I was like, what's going on? Meya Paru, what's going on? Why is everybody here? What's this? They're like, calm down, you fainted. I was like, immediately they said you fainted. As when I remembered what actually happened. I like horror movie, but when you're watching horror movie, you know that all these things are fake. Like, the blood is not real, everything. So instead of like people shouting when watching horror movie, I actually laugh and kind of like be like, oh, this team, they're actually good at what they do. It almost look real, but I know this one was real. And the sight I saw, like the dead body, I don't know if it's a lady or the jaw was removed, and then it was, it was a burnt, a nearby village got burnt. So, and so many people either did not recognize it or did not claim the body, so they donated it to our school. Like, we should use it for experiment and stuff like that. It shook my confidence in being a medical doctor. But our family doctor, Dr. Sam, he assured me that he before he moved into medicine, like, he was scared of blood. Like, he used to like feel faint, like lightheaded when he see blood, but now he's operating and it's okay. I was like, okay, fine. Everybody was like, you can do this and stuff like that. Okay, fine. I tried to continue. I tried to like push through, but anytime, it's not even, when I even think about like that area, I'm not talking about the building, I'm talking about a few distance in that building, I get this kind of shaky, and I was like, I can't go there and stuff like that. And I realized that I can't really continue like this. Like, how will I push through and stuff like that? I told my mom, and they were really disappointed. And the people that were actually having my back, like, kind of like praising me that, oh, our Dr. Dina, I became kind of like the shame. I remember Jigawa is that kind of community that everybody knows everybody knows their business. And my dad is this kind of like popular person there. So you imagine how kind of shameful it felt. You would think that maybe I committed fornication and maybe I even got pregnant, the way everybody was acting. Like, the looks, and they were like, Gatana, like, look at that, because they feel being a medical doctor was like kind of like a huge accomplishment. Like, you think maybe I made it to the moon and came back or something. When I told them that I passed my jam, I think I scored 320 and stuff. So kind of praise I got is different from now. So luckily my dad was had a business in Lagos. So that was when I thought to myself, okay, Daddy, I want to follow you. Let me go to Lagos and stuff like that. It took a lot of convincing because my life was already planned out for me. I'll go to FUD, I'll graduate. After graduating, find a nice guy. In fact, they don't need to find a nice guy because they're already, things in Jigawa is kind of like, immediately you finish as a lady, immediately you finish university, the next thing is to get married. That's the next thing. You don't have any business and okay, I want to go and learn this and that. Why they were really happy about me going to being a medical doctor and stuff is that I can be practicing my medicine I can be a midwife, like helping, because they don't really like the fact that okay, this guys that is leaving their wife and they want more female in that field. Moving to Lagos required a lot of convincing, and my mom was like, okay, immediately you finish school in Lagos, you come back here and get married. That was the plan. And I actually did not think twice. I just took it like anything to get me away from here because the shame was too much. So moving to Lagos. Let me give you a picture of my home in Jigawa. I won't just call it a mansion, but it is big, 2-story building. It is like wide. I have my own room. I have a room for like some things that I don't really think fit my room, and any junks, like anything, I'll just take it there and stuff like that. So coming to Lagos now, my dad came here thinking that he was the only one coming here, so he rented just like 1-bedroom flat and everything, and I was staying in the living room. That was the first time that I knew that I slept in the living room. Like parlor. I slept in the parlor on the chair. It was very weird for me, like, because I can't share a room with my dad. So that was where things were kind of like different, and I was like, you know what, I still want to push through. It's better than going back to Jigawa, going back to the shameful look in everybody's eyes, especially my mom's side. After that, it was the issue of getting admission into Yaba Tech. So I got the admission through my neighbor. I can't remember how he knows my dad, but he's my neighbor, and my dad knew him, like, okay, he graduated from Yaba Tech, and Yaba Tech is kind of like, you don't need to do jam to go there, you just have to like get the admission and stuff like that. So he was the one that helped me, and the process did not take long. I was a student of Yaba Tech. I remember the first day I went to Yaba, and I remember exactly what I wore, because I got so many comments on that. I wore a blue gown, and this gown is the kind of gown that on Eid, that's what you should wear for Eid. But me, I thought like, okay, because school in Jigawa is like an excuse for you to dress nice, like to look your best and everything, but it's different here in Lagos. In Lagos, like, someone can literally wear an oversized shirt and come to class. I mean, maybe there's a boxer under, like this short under, but that's how casual it was, and I was not used to that. So me, I dressed there like, I tied my hijab, I carried my fancy bag, and I came like, oh, Alaja, you know. So even people that don't speak, that are not Muslim, they will try to get Assalamu alaikum. It's from their pronunciation. I know that they're not really Muslims or so. So, and they were welcoming, actually. They were welcoming, and that's when they use the word Alaja. At that time, mind you, I don't know how to speak Yoruba at all. Like, I don't know Wa, as little as Wa. I don't know Omi. I don't know anything. So when they were like calling me Alaja, I had to ask, like, what's the meaning of Alaja? They're like, so different explanation. Some said it's if you go to Makkah. Another person says because you're a Muslim. Another person, I was like, okay. I was not trying to understand. Is Alaja actually kind of like offensive word? Like, that's how I felt. Like, it was kind of, they were kind of like discriminated, like, okay, because you wear hijab, like, okay, Alaja. It was until when something tragic happened to me. We had tests, and if we're having tests, like, there's a way they separate all of us. We go to a different hall, and then we don't go in with our phones or bag and everything. So I left my bag in front of the hall, which was a big mistake. I should have looked everywhere and asked where people are keeping their bag, but you know, I kept my bag in front of the class, did my test. Coming out, I did not see my bag. In my bag, it had my power bank, my phone, my transport, all my documents, because it's still the first week, like, of coming to Yaba. Though I joined late, so the activity was already happening, but that was my own first week of coming to Yaba. So I came with all my documents, and by all my documents, in that document, it has like my birth certificate, my WAEG, everything that has my identity was there in this file. And they did something unexpected. They like brought out money. They contributed to get me a tote bag, and they contributed money to take me back home. That was when I got like 3 very, very close friends, and they really helped me to navigate Lagos.
Are you enjoying the episode so far? If you love stories that make you feel at home, check out our anthology, A Man and a Woman and Other Stories. You can get a copy of this book through the link in our description box below or at Roving Heights Bookstore. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yaba Tech was the first place I had my share of, I don't know if I should call it relationship and stuff, but I met this guy at Yaba. His name is Hope. He was the one that actually told me about coding. He took my interest there when he told me, like, okay, as a back-end developer, this is what they earn. But that already had my interest. Because, I mean, the money he called was not small. At that time, he said 800k. I was like, just to sit there in front of laptop, 800k. I was like, I want to go into it. I started making my research. So I came across an academy what they do is like learn now and pay later. So that's if you enroll there and you learn, you get a job. So that job you'll not be paying. I was like, this is awesome. It was different than university. It was more like matured people there. And I think I was one of the youngest there. There's someone that was still like in university, and then I was like a little bit older than the person, but nevertheless I was the youngest. You remember when I said, is it not just to sit down in front of laptop and tap on key? It's not it though. I learned that the hard way. We started with JavaScript, Node.js and stuff like that, and at that point I was actually into tech because of the money. But if you actually want to go into tech, you have to go into it because you have the passion, you have the love, you love it and everything. So I was just like forcing myself because I know that I did not pay for this and I'm going to pay 1 million after. So I just have to like keep on forcing myself. That was when my laptop decided to like abandon me. It spoiled, and it was the motherboard that had the issue. So people were saying that just get a new laptop, and I had no money. And unfortunately at that point my dad was having issue with business because back home he was the only electronics like person there. Anybody that wants to get gen television AC is from him. So but people were already evolving, other shops have opened and everybody so business was not really moving well. So I can't ask my parents that hello, I need this amount of money. I couldn't. That was when I was like, okay, I guess I need to get a job. So one of my friends in school, she said she has an auntie, and the auntie is like running a bakery and they need a baking assistant. So I'll go out early at 7 and come back as late as 8 p.m, sometimes 9. I was so exhausted and tired, and it wasn't easy. So it was going on. I still had to like go to where I was learning coding. I don't have my system, so there's not really much to do. So and then I used to like play around with Canva. I used Canva to like design some stuff, do logos, and just I would be paid like 1K. So people are like, okay, do you need a logo and stuff like that, and flyer, poster. I like creating things, and to be a product designer you have to create like the client will just give you the idea. You'll be the one to create it, to think of the UI, to think of the user experience, to think of everything that is going to make that platform be suitable for the user. And then you think of the coloring, you think of everything. So it's like, in my own words, it's like giving birth to something, creating something from the scratch. I love that. So when I realized, I was like, I should have gone for it too. But mind you, I'm already tied with this 1 million naira that's floating over my head with a broken system, and I was like, oh, what will I do? At that moment, I was thinking that, I should have just stayed in Jigawa, because I wouldn't need to like start looking for a job up and down. I wouldn't need to like disturb myself this much. The job, I was drained physically, mentally, emotionally. Like I was like, I almost called my mom down. Mommy, I want to go back to Jigawa and everything. But luckily, my uncle came back from Dubai, and he came, he greeted us and everything. So I told him about my issue. He gave me money. I got my system. I was like, okay, this is a fresh start. Immediately I quit that job. And I said, okay, I'm going to focus on my career. I'm going to go for UI UX design. At that time, I realized that backend wasn't actually the love of my life. It was product design, because the way I'll be the first to be in class. I'll be the first to do the assignment. I'll be the one to always ask the questions in the class. I'll be the one to always disturb my teacher, Mr. Kazim. To date, I still disturb him. Anytime I have problem, I'm like, Mr. Kazim, this thing is not working and stuff like that. So after graduating and I finished, and I was like, okay, I have a certificate. I am now a product designer. What next? I heard about Tech Connect, so I went there, and that was when I had to shed off like my introvert skin. Like I had to be semi-extrovert. So I'll go there, like I'll have to like go introduce myself, because the first event I went to, I just sat down on my own, and nobody will come to you and be like, hey, I want to be a no. You're the one, you know what you're after, so you have to like go and chase after it. So I went there, I saw a bunch of like ladies, like, hi, my name is Maryam and everything. I was scared. Like, I mean, I don't know why socializing is actually an issue for me. Like, I feel like I'm going to like say something stupid, and I don't know, it's just it was kind of like a scary part, like that I had to cross, but it was nice. They are really awesome people around. If you just like expose yourself to them. One of them invited me to my very first hackathon, and we pitched my idea about like using tech in the health space and stuff like that. It was an hackathon. It was 3 days, so day one I had to meet with all new people. Also, we had to like collab. Okay, this is what you are doing, this is what I'm doing, and everything. We work together, we joke around. It's actually a fond memory. Like, anytime I think about it, I smile. So out of 30, we came out 7th position. But they gave us pillow. So I was actually not happy, because I know that there's a lot at stake. I still have that 1 million naira on my head, and I still haven't like achieved something. I got this invitation to have my this thing. They said, oh, they saw I think our team name is Stenak. So they said they saw all our team and our effort and everything, that they want to give us a space to talk for Kavista and stuff like that. And that was like the turning point of my career. Like, I got so many connections. Like, I was the one now turning down job. The first job I did was what the client wanted was an artisan app, like where the user can connect with any artisan, maybe a plumber, and you just go to the app and then connect and everything. Then my first salary was 350. The first thing I did was call my mom. I told her that she was so proud. I was really happy and relieved. At that moment, I started getting calls from Jigawa, like congratulations and everything. Like, people are funny. The same people that were like giving me that kind of attitude and stuff, they were now the one calling me. Still, my parents are still kind of like, I think they have this mentality that, okay, you have to marry early and stuff like that. So they bring like guys my way, and like, you know what you're looking for. I mean, imagine you like trying to reinvent yourself, like trying to like be the better version of yourself. A guy actually told me to my face that Shebi, I've already like gone through some exhibition, like, why am I still going? Shebi, I've already win and stuff like that. That people too like to they do. Like, at that moment, I was like, I stood up and left. And I would say Lagos has actually like shaped me to be I can be bold enough to say to shape me to be the better version of myself, because I don't think I'll be the way I am back in Jigawa. Jigawa, like I said, was my safe haven, was my bubble, was everything. Maybe by now I'll have been married with kids, and yeah, I can say I might be married to a rich guy, but and so what? I have to beg him a man to be giving me money and stuff like that. I know I wouldn't have liked that life. So whatever opportunity you have to like change your environment and like test the waters, try it. Just if you feel, just know that okay, you've learned, and if you don't feel, well, at least it's a win-win situation. Thank you for listening.
We hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode of What Is Your Story by Noisy Podcast. If you would like to be a guest on this show, click on the link in the description box below. Don't forget to share, leave a comment, and like this episode. Also follow us on social media at Noisy Streets. Okay, see you same time next week. Bye.